Right, yeah. So if you're new to beekeeping and you're looking to get yourself a nucleus colony of bees, there's a beekeeper you really need to get to know. His name is Sam Lamanna-Lilley and he's based in Geelong, Victoria. Welcome, Sam.
Thanks for having me, Nathan. How are you?
I'm great. It's good to have you with us. Look, maybe if you could just start by just telling us a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name's Sam. I'm 31 years old and I'm a commercial beekeeper based out of Geelong. I started out like anybody does, watching YouTube until I turned red in the eyeballs. Went into my very first hive full of gusto and confidence, and I lifted off the lid, and I quickly realised exactly how unprepared I was, and that was it in a bit. That was my introduction to beekeeping, and it's just gone onwards and upwards, and sky's the limit for me now.
Fantastic. So tell me, you've got a sort of two main businesses that you run down there in Geelong. Tell us a little bit about those.
Yeah, so I'm one of the directors of Honey Source Proprietary Limited. We're a commercial beekeeping operation specialising in nucleus colonies and queen sales.
Yes.
And we've started up another business called Three Horn Brewing, which is Western Regional Victoria's first registered meadery. So, I think anybody would be right on the money if they accused me of being obsessed with honey.
Now, you do have another couple of interests that I'm aware of outside of honey when you're not, talking bees. What are those?
It seems that I've got an affinity for shiny and stingy sharp things. So when we're not doing our big days, doing swarm captures and hive removals and looking after our 150 hives, this really weird, abnormal time people seem to call winter comes along. And I don't get to go out to the bees or play with them because I don't know if anybody who's watching knows, but winter is a really bad time for Victorians to be playing with their bees because it gets too cold and will kill them. That's really detrimental for any beekeeping operation. It kind of goes against everything that we stand for. So instead of playing with bees, Mel let me. I don't even know how I convinced her to let me. But Mel let me build my own forge and start teaching myself how to make chef's knives. So I've found two styles in particular, which is the Nakiri and the Kiritsuki, which are two Japanese chef's knives, and I've been honing my skills, pun intended, on that. And I've got a bit of an interest in gold prospecting, and I'm not even sure how it led to me finding Australian black opal. And I found out that you could order rough opal from the opal miners up in New South Wales. I like the black opal, which comes from Lightning Ridge in New South Wales.
Yes.
So I ordered a package, and that turned up, and I've taught myself how to rub back, which is what they call it when you're finding the opal, and polish polished stones. So
unbelievable.
Yeah,
that's fantastic. So you've got some great hobbies there, but obviously your day job is heavily around the bees, and you've become a little bit well known for putting together nucleus colonies and rearing queens. Why did you choose to sort of specialise in those two areas when it came to beekeeping?
Oh, look, people might accuse me of being a millennial, but the honey production just seems like such hard work. Where, they're
not
moving
wrong.
trucks and hives and equipment all across the country, and I thought surely there's got to be a better way. So what we've done is we've partnered up with some great local farmers and who are planting trees every year. One of our sites has over 100,000 trees planted.
Oh, fantastic.
And we just look for those spots where we can stay all year round. So rather than being migratory, we're stationary. And it gives me so much extra time to tune into the bees and watch them and learn from them and listen to what they're saying.
That's great. So, if you're sort of think back to when you were buying your first bees, what is it about a nucleus colony that you would look for? Like, how would you decide the difference between a sort of a quality nuke and perhaps not? What do you look for in a good looking nucleus hive?
The first thing that I look at when I'm looking for a nucleus colony is the beekeeper themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't want somebody who really just wants to take your money and run. That always speaks volume to me with either they're in a real hurry because they're so busy or there's something that they're just not telling you.
Yeah.
Take the time to find the person who wants to take the time with you.
Good point.
I personally don't want to sell our bees to anybody who's not going to love them as much as us.
Mm-hmm.
And that takes time to get to know the person.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing, you want to, when you very first lift the lids, you want to see that your colony's numbers are there.
Mm-hmm.
But you've got to listen to the bees too. Mm-hmm. Like, if they're sounding upset, like if they're queenless or something's going wrong in the hive, they roar. Like, they'll beekeeping isn't just about the honey. It's about using all your senses, your hearing, your smell, your touch, to navigate your way around the hive. So the bees will give you cues at the start when something's wrong. So those are two really big things. I want to see that the colony's nice and loaded with bees, but I also want to see an attentive beekeeper who's passing them on.
Now, colonies that I've worked with that you've provided are very docile, very gentle bees. Why is that important for a new beekeeper?
If you ask any beekeeper who's been doing it for more than 5 years and who has more than 2 hives, 99% of them will tell you at one point in their journey, their hobby, their career, they've had that one hive. And everybody remembers that one hive. It's the hive that will chase you from the front gate to the back gate. They're the ones that will hover over the water while you jump in the swimming pool. They are just aggressive. And look, nobody wants to work like that. When you get docile bees, they give you a chance to take a breath because the bees can smell anxiety and fear. So when they're calm, especially for a new beekeeper, it gives them that opportunity to take it all in, ground themselves, and go in with that slow and steady approach. Where aggressive bees, they swarm and they're aggressive and they're nasty, and it doesn't matter what day you work them, it's never going to be a good day.
And some of the nukes that you've provided have, I suppose in my apiary have become what you could call your favourite bees, the ones that you really do enjoy spending time with. I've noticed, in some of your photos, and often when we see you in the apiary, you're not even wearing a bee suit. Now, I certainly wouldn't encourage new beekeepers to go about their bees without a bee suit on and adequate protection, but clearly your bees are docile enough that you don't really need the suit.
I kind of feel like if I need a suit, then they're not tame enough for new beekeepers.
Yeah, good point.
My philosophy is gentle bees, they're just as productive as the savage ones.
So maybe give me a couple of lessons that you've learnt since becoming a beekeeper yourself that you wished you'd known when you first started, that sort of no one ever told you. What would be sort of 1 or 2 points that you could share with our beekeepers on the site?
Wearing black makes bees aggressive is a myth. And don't be afraid to ask the stupidest question that pops into your head. Yeah,
good point. I mean, the learning curve for beekeeping obviously happens over many, many years. There's a never-ending list of questions, really, isn't there?
Oh, look, my old beekeeping boss, my very first commercial job, he always said beekeeping was a 10-year apprenticeship. You've got to learn entomology, You've got to learn genetics, you've got to learn husbandry, you've got to learn agriculture, horticulture. There is so many different aspects of so many different jobs that you've got to learn, especially if you want to take it seriously and become a professional. It's there's so much to it. There's so much.
So tell me, if someone was sort of on the fence, they're on our website and they're thinking, do I give this beekeeping a try? Can I really do this? What would be your advice to them?
I would say that if you're on the fence about it, just do it. If you need, if you're looking at bees and if you're thinking about it, you're already curious enough to take that step. Beekeeping is such an amazing hobby to get into for the very basic beginners. It really, in a world that's so full of chaos, beekeeping's the only job that I've ever found that forces you to slow down. If you don't slow down, the bees punish you because they get cranky for being rushed. So it's one of those things where you will have lost more enjoyment by not trying.
And in this day and age, look, with everything that people face, having something that slows you down, chills you out, relaxes you, and then obviously the bees give you so much in terms of product and honey and everything else. It's a good thing. It's no wonder we love it.
Absolutely. I'm hooked.
Righto, mate. Thank you for your time. I do appreciate it. We'll speak to you again soon.
Thanks for having me, Nate. Talk soon.